Welcome back to LEGO Battlebots Season 4. Kicking things off, we have a great fight lined up between Bite Force and Riptide. Bite Force, the Season 1 champion, lost in the Desperado of Season 3, was forced to go to the Losers League, went 2-3, and then won all the way through the last chance bracket to finally get back into the field. As for Riptide, it had a much more successful Season 3, as it was the runner-up, only losing to Mannerheim, the defending champion, along the way. Riptide's frame upgrades have proved huge for it, and that reliability has increased massively, making that a bot able to win a lot more fights. And as for Bite Force, its upgrades in the last chance bracket, removing those wheels and replacing them with bricks, meaning that Wedge's ground scraping have also will improve that bot significantly. And it's going to be interesting to see how these wedges interact, because both of these bots definitely have the power to knock the other out. So let's go down to the arena to see which one of these bots proves victorious. Let the bot battle begin. Riptide getting underneath Bite Force to start things off, only a Mind Shot, and sends them into a backflip. Something just fell off of Bite Force. That doesn't look too vital though. Bite Force then spinning around. That wedge is holding up. Well, it just got chunk ripped out of it. But that wedge is Bite Force holding up, but not getting underneath Riptide. And now Bite Force is flipped. This is serious trouble for the Season 1 champ. They are on the ropes now, but I don't think they really can do anything at the moment. The Riptide looking to finish the job, get them out of the arena. Not quite successful in doing that so far, but there they go. Knockout! Well, Riptide's wedge was lower, and that was it. They threw Bite Force around a couple times before getting them flipped over and spent half the total fight length to try and get Bite Force out of the arena, which they did. The reigning runner-up moves to 1-0. A very successful start to the season. Next up is a battle of hammers as Redblow takes on Venom. Redblow coming out of the Losers League with a 4-1 record, so pretty solid performance. Meanwhile, Venom coming from Battle of the Builders as the 4th place finisher, losing to Bonk and then Overlord in the 3rd place playoff. Both these bots are very durable, but lack significant weapon power, so it's going to come down to whose forks are more effective, and Venom has more and less worn of them, so I think that's the advantage to Venom. But Redblow has a way of winning fights it has no business winning, so who knows what's going to happen. We'll find out down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Venom scooping up Redblow and trying to put it in the screws already. A fork has already come off of Redblow, and they're trying to get Redblow all the way up there. And now Redblow is out, but they are upside down. Venom pushed them right back into the screws. A great start for Venom here. As we just go right back on the attack. Those forks doing an amazing job of getting underneath Redblow. The Redblow only has one fork, and that's it for the wedges of Redblow. They have no wedge left, and Venom is going to completely own the ground game unless Redblow can somehow find a way to break all 5 of those forks. That is going to be tough to do. And we are seeing the effects of the damage here already, as Redblow is just getting scooped up and completely controlled by Venom. Venom doesn't really have to worry about it getting a knockout at this point. They're a pretty tough bot. It's going to be difficult for Redblow to find a way to get out of this predicament. And Venom is just going to keep getting more control as this fight progresses, should things not drastically change. See Venom utilizing the screws very effectively, while Redblow is able to get out of the situations that Venom puts it in. It's not able to do anything as they get rammed into the wall again. Venom just flipping Redblow over and over again. They take a tumble on the screws, another great ram there. Redblow has to start getting worried that these rams might actually be doing some serious damage. There goes the head of the axe, or the hammer really, of Redblow. They're taking some more damage, and that's not what you want to see, as that's a big ram. Redblow went flying there. Venom in complete control of this fight. Redblow has not had an answer since the starting buzzer. And Venom continues to go on the offensive. They are not slowing down. Well, Redblow has no idea what to do here. finally a 4 comes off of Venom, but it might be a bit too late, and especially it is there, as something just popped off the back of Red Blow, and it is hard. They sluggishly self-right, but Venom lining up for more hammer attacks, driving them into the screws once more, putting them in there just for good measure. And now put him in the corner. The countdown is on.
9,
Red Blow not
8,
moving.
7,
This fight is
6,
over. What
5,
a dominant
4,
performance that was
3,
by Venom.
2, 1, knockout.
Venom dominated that fight from start to finish. They took a fork off in the first engagement and never looked back. They also got the rest of the wedge off of Red Blow very quickly, which made it very easy to dominate the rest of this fight. I mean, there was nothing Red Blow could do in response as to what Venom did to it. They just completely controlled that fight, rammed them into the screws about a dozen times, just rammed them against the wall a lot, and eventually that wore down Red Blow even more than we expected. And the head of the hammer broke off, and especially with big rams like that. And Red Blow eventually lost part of its entire chassis. Venom only lost one fork, and that was all heroes. Next up, we have Blip taking on Deadlift. Both these bots were pretty similar results in Season 3. Deadlift actually made it to the round 32 before it got predictably annihilated by Whiplash, the number 1 seed in that tournament. As for Blip, it made it to the play-in matches where it was knocked out, ripped apart by Uppercut. So Blip for this season has had a massive upgrade to the durability of that chassis at the cost of sacrificing a lot of that bot's weapon power. Deadlift has had no upgrades, so it's not still very lightweight, still pretty fragile. So we're gonna have to see how well these new upgrades of Blip perform. Let's find out how they do down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Blip's forks get underneath Deadlift. A good starting sign for those upgrades. And now they're really getting underneath, but that flipper not able to do much there. And there's a little flip getting Deadlift onto its side, and then the maneuvers help turn it over completely. And Blip not really, but then you can see that flipper's, and again there, that flipper is not as powerful as it used to be, not by a long shot. Those forks are staying on, which is a very good sign, though. No, they're still only attached by 2 studs. Oh, there's a solid flip by Blip, getting Deadlift into the screws. And again, solid flip, trying to get them. And they get them in the pit. That was the best of the match. Well, Blip's upgrades certainly looked like we expected them to. The forks did not come off. They held up pretty well. And the flipper did not really have much power. So a good win for Blip to start this season, but they do have to be worried about how much power that flipper has in the future. Fight number 4 sees Bronco taking on Duck. Bronco made it to last season's round of 32 before it was stopped by Gigabyte, though it was a very close fight. As for Duck, it also made it around 32 before losing in a rematch to eventual champion Mannerheim. And Duck also got some upgrades for this season. That lifter is much more securely connected to those arms on the side, so the plow won't really bend as easily in battle and should be able to hold on a lot better. Bronco is going to be a difficult opponent for Duck, since that is challenging not the durability of Duck, but its ability to stay in the arena. Sure, Duck is a very heady and kind of awkward bot, but it does pose more of a challenge. However, Bronco's ground game is not the best, and that is something Duck could certainly exploit. Let's find out who ends up victorious down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. It's Duck getting to the side of Bronco to start things off. Good lift, but Bronco able to counter get underneath and rips off the tip of Duck's lifter. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for Duck to get underneath. Now Bronco's trying to get Duck into the screws. They're unable to do so. Flipper is still on Bronco, but again, struggles to make anything much out of it, but that's still something out of the arena. Duck got to the side and got underneath Bronco early on in the fight, but that's the only attack they had. Bronco was able to counterattack very effectively, ripping off the tip of Duck's lifter and quickly throwing them out of the arena. Moving on to fight number 5, we have Uppercut taking on Siege Engine. Uppercut made last season Route 32 before it was viciously ripped apart by Bloodsport. As for Siege Engine, it was the only bot to defeat Mannerheim on its way to the trophy, but it didn't make the playoffs because it went 2-2 in the regular season and then lost in a close play-in match to Season 2 champion Sawblaze. Now Siege Engine has received some fairly minor aesthetic upgrades for this season, shouldn't really affect its capabilities too much. But it still has received upgrades overall from when these two bots started. Uppercut has not received any upgrades since Season 1, so that's kind of a problem for it. Siege Engine has the much better forks, but Uppercut's powerful weapon might be able to cause some problems, but let's find out if it's able to down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Siege Engine gets underneath Uppercut and is over. Well, all Siege Engine needs is one attack to get Uppercut into the pits. That's the Siege Engine we know so well. Next up is Emulsion taking on Cloud. Both these bots performed poorly in Battle of the Builders. They were only able to get one win before dying in the tournament's round of 16 to the number 2 seed Bad Revolution and the number 1 seed Overlord, respectively, which was already a rematch. But Emulsion at least has gotten some upgrades. That chassis is a lot more robust and should be able to take a lot more hits, though it's still fairly weak. And as for Cloud, it's still fairly durable in its own right, but its weapon power is kind of lacking. And Emulsion will definitely be able to take advantage of that poor ground game. But hey, Emulsion's weak enough that Cloud might be able to do some damage with that undercard, but let's find out what happens down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Cloud's weapon spinning up and unable to hit the front of Emulsion. Doesn't seem to be bouncing off the wedge, which is a good sign for Cloud. Ooh, there's a solid little pop there. Emulsion popped up a little bit. And again, there, that wedge not being able to really stop Cloud's spinner so far. There goes the tip of Emulsion's flipper. In fact, Cloud dealing the first bit of damage now, as that spinner tries to take off the rest of the wedges of Emulsion. But that doesn't work. Emulsion gets the flip they were looking for, flips Cloud over, and now Cloud drives into the screws for some reason. I think they were trying to self-right. That doesn't work. Emulsion lays off as Cloud comes off, and now that thing that allows Cloud to spin as an undercutter is gone. They are going to be struggling a lot more. That using an overcutter config is not going to work well, and they're out of the arena.
Knockout.
Well, it was Cloud who drew first blood, was able to rip off the tip of Emulsion's flipper, but that really just made Emulsion better, as they were now able to get underneath and utilize their wedges a lot more effectively. They got the flip they needed and severely limited Cloud's weapons' effectiveness before throwing them out of the arena. A good start for Emulsion, but they probably want to beat a better opponent. Fight number 7 is a battle between two bar spinners looking for their first win of all time. This is Xanthic versus Dark Matter. Both bots went 0-4 in their Battle of the Builders heats and thus did not make the Battle of the Builders tournament, and both bots are looking for their first win. Xanthic had issues with instability, it's like most overhead bar spinners, but Dark Matter has had more problems with weapon reliability, so they have had some upgrades to reinforce that bar spinner and hopefully doesn't blow itself apart every fight. Not gonna see if those upgrades help or if Xanthic is able to be the more stable bot and still take part in the weapon Dark Matter. Who knows what's gonna happen? So one of these bots is gonna get their first ever win down the arena. Let the bar battle begin. Both bots spin up in a solid shot to kick things off. Hey, there's the second shot, and both bots are still standing. This is gone long to the Bloodsport versus Cherry Blossom. And both bots seem to be okay. They did good after these first couple engagements. And there's the first piece gone. One of the wedges of Xanthic, but that's not gonna... Oh! There goes half of Dark Matter's blade. Those upgrades have not helped it. And there goes the other half. Dark Matter's a sitting duck as Xanthic now flips them over, still driving on one wheel, but they are in big trouble and they are not in a position to do much. And there's the last shot by Xanthic. Both of Dark Matter's wheels are now off the ground, and this fight is over.
6,
Wow, that was
4,
very
3,
disruptive fight.
2, 1, knockout.
Both bots withstood the first couple of shots pretty well. Xanthic did lose its wedges, but they're not essential to the function of the robot, unlike half of Dark Matter's blade, which came off, and then the other half. It was only a matter of time before Xanthic flipped it over, I think it was like the first shot after, and then got the knockout victory. It's time for the main event, Glitch versus Nemesis. Glitch coming out of the Losers League with a 5-0 record after their disastrous Season 3. Meanwhile, Nemesis coming out of Battle of the Builders as the champion. So both bots won the past 2 events on this channel, so there's a lot of capabilities of these 2 bots. Both bots have incredible weapon power, especially the Nemesis. But Glitch does have more reliability slash durability issues, but one shot from that drum could do some serious damage, or probably not damage, but send Nemesis flying. We've seen Nemesis get one shot in his fight against Riptide back in Season 3. But again, these are 2 very powerful weapons, so this is going to be a high kinetic main event. I don't think this fight is going to the judges, so let's find out who does win down the arena. Let the main event begin. Both bots spin up. Oh, huge shot. Nemesis loses itself forever, but Glitch loses its wedge, and it's over. Glitch ripped apart in just 2 shots. The channel Mascot
10,
taking its
9,
first win of this
8,
season in
7,
violent
6,
fashion, proving
5,
that it is in
4,
fact one of the
3,
best bots on
2,
the channel.
1, knockout.
The first shot took the wedge, and the second shot took the entire everything of Glitch. Yeah, Nemesis just so powerful that Glitch just didn't stand a chance.